Record. Look it, I remembered to record. All right, can you guys see the screen okay? All righty. All right, well, welcome everyone. I'm so glad you guys are here this morning. I have let's see, did Raven need some workbook? That feels like two. So today we are here to talk about how to break down your vision, your goals for the year into daily action steps, right? So important to take your big idea and break it down into what do I need to do today, tomorrow, and the next day to make it happen, to be successful in what you want to get done. So Anna, do you want to do your activity? We've got a little activity that Anna's going to present here for us, and then we'll keep on going.
Okay, hi. So what we're doing is that you're just going to take a cup, and I know it's going to kind of be a challenge to hold, but there's a cup with some I think it lends itself perfectly to have a visual, and then I'm going to pass around these seeds. And so you're going to take a few seeds, and then you're going to put it in your plant, in your cup with dirt. So everybody has a little cup with some dirt, and then we're going to plant a seed. So I think it blends in perfectly. It's a nice visual for exactly what we're going to do today. So as Heather said, you're coming in with your goals, your intentions, and this is going to be a good visual for us to keep in our homes, near our desks somewhere, to remind us that just as a plant needs nurturing, it needs water, soil, sun, daily attention, your business. If you want to grow your business literally, you're going to have to give it the sun and the soil, the nurturing it needs. So just to take a few minutes and set our intention, just a deep breath, and whatever intention you come in with today, your goal for your business, that's what we're going to breathe into this plant, because everything is energy and everything has a soul. And everything is nurturing. So I think it's about clarity. What is your vision? What's your goal for your business? Whether it's to get your license, and then what does that other half of the year look like after you have your license, or you have your license and you're practicing already, whatever your intention and your goal is, just gonna take a deep breath and plant your seeds. And as you take this home and you begin to nurture it and water it and put it in the sun, and you're gonna see it sprout. Just like you're gonna see when we take these action steps Heather's gonna walk us through, that's exactly what's gonna happen with your business. So there you have the visual.
So make sure you water it so that you can see every day, right? A little bit of growth. And that's exactly what we're doing here today, is finding the sun and the water and everything so that you can watch your business and your life grow. Cool. Yeah. All right, so those of you guys at home, I hope I emailed out this morning our little workbook. Hopefully you've got that. And a lot of it is just space to write down things today. So you don't have to have it printed. You can just follow along. And when I say, okay, do this now, there's a space in the workbook. You could also just do it on blank paper. So if you don't have this, that's okay. Yeah. Oh. Wait. Okay, just a second. Let me see. Okay. Does the link that I sent out? That's weird. She's not popping up on here. And yeah, maybe have her try again, because I tried to make it that they didn't have to get allowed in, so I wouldn't have to be paying attention. So if not, you can take my phone and try to figure it out if you can't get in. Okay, so the first thing that I want you guys to do is take a moment, and you've probably already worked on your business plan for the year or some year goals. Take a moment and write down, what is your vision from work you've done before? What is your vision or your big goals for this year, so that you have them down on paper? Go ahead and take a moment. Remember goals, you guys. We worked on a lot of this in the business plan, right? There's goals, they're measurable, actionable, time-based. So just take, and it can be one sentence or 2 or 3 things that you really want to accomplish this year. And then we're going to break it down. So we're not going to spend time on the big goal. We're going to spend time on the small goals today. Oh, she can't get in? Well, that's so weird. All right. We'll have it all over the place. My only worry is that it'll be, sometimes 2 speakers messes things up. So you might have to mute or something so that, but then she won't be able to hear me. Oh, but she can mute. If she mutes, then you should be okay. Actually, I don't know, but she should be able to talk. I think it's 2 people on Zoom that when it's a problem, right? 2 speakers on Zoom. You get that wah, wah, wah.
Yeah,
sound?
everybody has to meet themselves.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Oh, it's at the last, this is the last thing we're gonna do is have fun. I don't know how it got to the very last.
You can start out.
That's what you should always do. Start out with fun and end with fun. And now it's blank. How funny. In slideshow. Let me start over. I don't want it to zoom me forward. Okay, hopefully. Alrighty, everybody have down a statement, something that they're gonna work on today, their big vision for the year. Awesome. Okay, so then what I wanna talk about is the reason we look at our vision for the year is that you always wanna start with the end in mind, right? Where do you wanna get to long-term? Where do you wanna get to? It's great to have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals. What do you want your business to look like down the road? Today we're breaking it down into small pieces, but you still want to have that really good idea of what you want it to look like ultimately so that you can determine the steps you need to get there. You hopefully have either had a business plan or some yearly goals that you pulled that vision today that you wrote down, and we will go from there. All right, I would like to take a moment and go around the room. And I'd love to hear a little bit about who you guys are and everybody online as well. Not everybody knows each other. So if you could introduce yourself and tell us where you are in your career and what your vision is. So what you wrote down or something that you want to share that not everybody has to share. Oh, let me, I think everybody, well, maybe not knows me. First, let me introduce myself. I always forget that piece. My name's Heather Thurber. I'm the Education Training Director for Better Homes and Gardens. And I have been in business. This is my 6th year in real estate. So I'm actually pretty new in real estate, but I've been a top producing agent ever since. And my passion is really helping other agents figure out their business, put it down on paper, and be successful as well. So that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. But now we'll go around and everybody, if you guys could just your name, where you are. So if you're studying or if you're licensed, and then what your vision is for the year. And I'm going to turn this way so everybody can see. All right, who wants to start?
I can.
All right.
So I am Sarah, and I am currently taking my classes to get my real estate license. So that's my first goal for the year. And then second would be find a mentor at a local real estate group. And then once I do that, set up my goals for, if it's 6 months left in the year, 9 months, whatever it may be. And use that spreadsheet that you folks provided last training.
Mhm.
That was so cool. So,
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Do you want to go, Anna?
I'm a real estate broker. I've been in business for about 25 years. I'm kind of at the other end. I want to wind down my practice in the next 5 years, but one of my goals was to have mentees, to have a group. So I have that in the Napa office. You're welcome to join. And to help kind of give all the information I've learned, it's the good and the bad and the ugly in the last 25 years, and teach so that, yeah. So that as you're starting your career, you don't have to go through all the mistakes I made. Kind of like put you on the fast track. So that's kind of my, as an elder in the community, I want to give back what I've
very-
learned.
Very
You know,
cool.
So in the next 5 years, I'm kind of weeding out, but that's one of my major goals. Is to leave something behind. That's
Cool.
awesome.
Thank you, Anna. Joe?
And I've been practicing since 2016 on a part-time basis. And then last fall, I retired from my regular career and went into real estate full-time. So I've had a few small sales, but not enough activity that I shouldn't be here today. So I'm glad I'm here and looking to learn some more.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Let's see who wants to go. Raymond?
Sure. My name's Raymond. I'm a realtor here at Better Homes and Gardens. I'm pretty new. I just got my license in November. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't figure out a third goal, but my first goal though is to door knock 100 doors a day, 5 days a week, and get used to learning scripts and just having a dialogue with strangers on a daily basis, which I've been very on and off doing, which is not good, but
Hard to
still,
do.
yeah, yeah. And then my other goal overall is just I want to make $100,000 this year is the big goal. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And we'll talk more about how to achieve those, right? That's why we're here. Do you want to go?
Yes, I am Isabel Aguilar and I'm studying for my license. I'm in the first term of the class. My plan for this year is to get my license middle of the year and then set my probably 50,000 for the next 6 months after income. So I want to see how can I do it.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you.
My name is Judith, and I am a mom. I'm a full-time employee for the Unified School District in Napa.
Mm.
So that takes 8 hours of my day every day, plus my family, my 2 little kids. But I'm really excited. I'm learning a lot of nice stuff that I didn't know I liked. I'm taking the classes, and my first goal is to get my license. I don't know, within the 6 next months or so. And then just be like a part-time for right now.
Mhm.
So I have more time and more experience, and then maybe like him, I can quit my job
Mm-hmm.
and just be a full-time real estate.
Great. Great. Thank you. Okay, let's see who we've got here. Who wants to online? Who wants to go?
I'll go. My name is Adilene Baramo. I am one of Anna's hopefully mentees. I am just finished my real estate courses and I'm waiting for my application to be approved so that I can move on to the exam. So my first goal is to get my license this year, and I'm also working full-time. So my second goal is to be able to make the same salary I'm making now in real estate to be able to transition full-time.
Okay, great. Sounds like some good goals. And let's see, who else have we got out there?
Hey, good morning. Matt Vigvari, and I'm over in the Napa office. I've been licensed for a couple of years now. Closed a few transactions last year. I also run a personal training business. So I'm looking to close 6 to 10 transactions this year. And I'm working with multiple pre-approved buyers. So looking to work with more on the seller side this year and in the future. I know that's where the business is at. So
List to last, right? That's what Randy says all the time. All right, thanks, Matt. And who else is out there?
Just me. Hi,
Who is
I'm
that?
Vicky. So my name is Vicky, and I'm on my 3rd class, and I'm also one of Anna's mentees. And my goal is to sell 5 houses with my help get 5 houses with my first year.
Okay, great. Thank you. And your person on FaceTime, would you like to introduce yourself?
Veronica, do you want to say something? Unmute yourself. Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is I was also for 5 years in Hawaii about 18 years ago. And when I came to California a few years later, I worked with Anna as a transaction coordinator, and we've been friends ever since. And I wanted to get back into real estate now that my daughter is older. That's the reason I got out of it, to spend time with her. But I also am working a full-time job. So my goal is to start in the fall and transition to a part-time job plus real estate until I can build my real estate business.
Okay, great. Thanks, Veronica. Good to see everyone here today. So clearly, we are all in very different places, right? The spectrum here. And the great thing about goals is that it's very personal, right? So each of us, you can break down what you want, what you need to see, and then this system, this that I use, it can be applied towards any goal, anything you want to do, whether it's from losing 50 pounds or losing 10 pounds to writing a book, to getting your license or having a certain level of production in real estate. So whatever goals you want to work on today, this will meet you and you'll be able to break it down. So I love the system. This is what I use. And I feel like it's applicable to every situation. It can be adapted to anything that you need. So, all right. So normally so many people, what we all do is we come up with our big year goals, right? Which is great because, hey, I've got a full year. What do I want to accomplish, right? There's tons of time. You can include everything. You can include, I want to spend more time with my family. I want to get healthier. I want to improve my business. I want to redo my kitchen, right? It's a whole year. So you've got so much potential, but it's also the downside of year-long goals is you want to include everything, right? You're like, it's a whole year of my life. I don't want to leave anything out. I want to make sure I do everything. And so it can get very overwhelming, right? Oh, I've got 20 goals or I've got 15 goals. How do I determine today what I should do? When I first did this, I took my 20 goals or whatever it was. I think it was about 12. And I thought, okay, every day I need to do this and this and this for this one and this and this and this for this one. And before it was about 2 or 3 days. And I just was like, okay, I've got a call coming in. Sorry, guys. I just, in like a week, I gave up, right? You're just like, I can't do this. There's no way. And so what I like to do is really break it down into small pieces. Another challenge with your year goals is it's really easy to drift, right? So you make goals on January 1st for the year. It's already March 5th. Is that right? March 6th. Where are you with those goals? Well, you're like, oh, I'm not quite where I wanted to be, but no big deal. I got 10 more months, right? It's really easy for that drift to happen. And that happens because there's not a ton of urgency. You don't have a day-to-day thing like, I've got to do this today so that I get it done later. So I reach that goal because you've got such a big, long time period. So what I like to do, what I want to encourage you to do is break your year down into 3-month segments. So look at what you want to do in 1 quarter. And it doesn't have to be exactly 3 months, exactly a quarter, but use a 3-month time period to really create the urgency and break it down so that you can accomplish those things you want to do day to day, right? You can do anything for a month or for 3 months, right? You can say, right? That's how if you want to lose weight, you're like, okay, for 1 week, I can eat a certain way, or I can do a certain thing, right? So the smaller you bring it down, the more likely you're going to be able to accomplish it. You're going to feel more success and you're not going to get just frustrated and burned out and just throw in the towel, right? That's what we do. oh my gosh, I already ate bad today, so I'm just gonna eat bad for the whole day, right? Whereas if you if you break it down and just, okay, I'm gonna eat really healthy till noon, then it's so much easier to do. So really breaking it down. And we're gonna go and we're gonna work on, I suggest that you create two to at the most 4 things that you really want to focus on for the next 3 months. All right, so take a look at your big vision, and we'll go more into this, but take a look at your big vision and determine in 3 months, what could I do to accomplish the big vision? What can I do in these 3 months that's really going to move the needle towards that goal? All right. So, if your goal is to write a book by the end of the year, what could you accomplish in 3 months to get you to that place? Maybe it's write the outline and maybe it's write the first 3 chapters. I don't know. I'm not an author. I don't know what you could do in 3 months about writing a book, but get the idea. Is like, break it down and determine. Now, your quarterly goals also may not be exactly it. They may take pieces of your big vision. So for instance, the very first time I did this, I had the year before had been not my most productive, and I had eaten into my emergency fund. So my goal was to replenish my emergency fund, and I decided it was going to take me about 6 months. And so what I did was I had a goal of, a production goal for my business, and that was a piece of that. But I also had like budgeting goals, right? That I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on certain things. And so I kind of took different of my big goals and brought them in. Okay, replenish that emergency fund. So that's so much money in 3 months, whatever it was. So think about that as we're going forward, about how you can take that big vision and just take a piece, take a bite off of it. The great thing with, let me make sure I'm on track here too. The great thing, hold on a second. Okay. It's not quite the one I was expecting to come up next. Checking with your calendar. Oh, okay. Okay. So we're going to dive into those 3 goals in a minute. But what I want you to do first is think about your next 3 months, and the time periods. If you're to start these goals on Monday, is basically the rest of March, April, and May. It's like March 7th through the end of May 29th, 30th. All right. So that's what I put here in the workbook. Now, hopefully you guys all have your calendars in your phone. What I want you to do is I want you to look in your phone now, in your calendar, and look at what things are happening in your life in that next 3 months that are going to impact your ability to accomplish your quarterly goals. All right. Are you going on vacation? Are you going to be gone for 10 days and like, okay, I'm not going to do a thing, right? Or do you have family visiting from out of town? Every time I have family visit, we go out to dinner, we drink wine. It's like, if my goal is a health related one, like it is just not happening so well that 10 days or whatever, So take a look and write down anything that you have in your calendar that's going to impact. The end of May is not long before school gets out, right? It gets really busy for parents those couple weeks in May where you're juggling all that stuff. So what is it in your calendar that's going to really impact your ability to create these goals or to achieve these goals? So take a couple minutes, take a look at that, and write down anything and some things may help, right? You could be going to a business conference. That's what just happened to me, and I got super inspired. So it actually has helped me. Oh, I'm really excited now to do certain activities. So anything in there that is going to impact it.
positive impacts instead of negatives. Not negative, but things that could possibly get.
Right, right. Yep, it is.
Stuff to that.
Yeah. Well, part of it is just being realistic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we have to know who we are, what we'll do, what we can and can't do. And that way we're more likely to do what we want, achieve what we want. So, okay, all right. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can deal with what you just learned. All right. You can decide that you want to extend that 3 months, right? Maybe you're going to be gone for 10 days. So you say, well, I'm actually going to have this plan be through the middle of June. Or you could say, well, no problem, I'll get something, however you want to react to it. Or maybe you're going to scale down your goal a little bit. Maybe it was 5 transactions by the end of this, by the end of May. And maybe you're saying, well, maybe realistic 4 makes more sense because I am going to be gone. Rob Ross was supposed to be, he was going to be on this call today, but he's not. But he's getting married in April, right? So his whole April is just going to be just gone, right? Right. Yeah, he's getting married like the middle of April. So the 2 weeks up, he's going to get nothing done. Then he's going on honeymoon, so maybe for him, it makes sense to say, okay, I'm going to go till the end of June. So however you want to deal with that. And right here, you can write down what dates you're going to use. Are you going to say that March 7th to May 30th, or do you want to change it up a little bit? Just so you have something planned. Let's see. All right. So that was this. Check in with your calendar. We already talked about all these things. All right. So now as you're developing the goals for this 3 months, what I'd like to do is take you through, pick one goal, and we'll go all the way through. And then if we have time, then you can do your second and third goals. But that way we'll get through everything today. When you're thinking about your goals for the quarter, just like any goals, you want them to be specific and measurable, all right? So you want to have, pass my 3 exams by such and such a date, right? Or like with the emergency fund, replenish so many dollars by a certain date. So specific and measurable. You also want to state them positively, right? So instead of saying, I will stop smoking, you might say, what did you say? I will have a smoke-free life. I don't know, whatever it is, but stating it positively instead of I will lose weight, I will weigh, instead of I'll lose 20 pounds, I will weigh the 100 and whatever I want to weigh. So stating it positively can really help as well. You also want to create your goals as an achievable goal, but a stretch goal. All right. So something you can do, again, going back to knowing ourselves, something you can achieve, but push yourself a little bit, right? You're going to be really focused. If you're taking just even 2 goals for 3 months, you can be focused and really push yourself on those things, right? We still are going to have all the day-to-day activities we have to do, right? Make the breakfast, do the laundry, answer the emails. There's a ton of things you have to do, but for this 2, 3, 4, the first time I did it, I had 4 goals because I couldn't let go of less, but now I do 2 or 3. I've never done 4 since because you're so focused. I also found things happen faster than the 3 months because I was so focused on those couple of items. But anyways, make it achievable, but make it a stretch goal. And make it something that you are going to be able to personally hold yourself accountable. All right. I love accountability partners, but in truth, the only one that can hold you accountable to what you want to do is you, right? An accountability partner can call you on your stuff. If you said, I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it, they can call you on it, but they can't actually make you do it, right? They can't write it for you. You have to do it yourself. And so look at when you're making these goals, we're going to go into all the tactics to achieve it. What are you going to easily do? And what is going to be a challenge, right? There's pieces of a goal that maybe you don't like to do it. It's hard. It's whatever, getting out door knocking 100 a day, that's a lot. Like that would be a huge challenge for me. And so just realizing, you know, if that's my goal, then setting up, how am I going to hold myself accountable? What am I going to be able to make myself do? So both being realistic and coming up with strategies for how to do the things that aren't so easy to do. And then time bound, it's really nice. Not only is it measurable, but also some deadlines, right? So within the goals, you want to come up with some deadlines. Some actions are you just have to do once, and then it's like building on itself, right? So you've got step 1 and then step 2 and step 3. So then deadlines within your goal for those items. No worries. I didn't even say to turn off things, but that's all right. We're a small group, so it's no big deal. Okay, let me know if anytime, if you have questions or want to make comments. I get talking. And I love all this stuff, so I easily keep talking for a long time. Okay, so now your next page is where you get to write down your 2 to 4 goals, things that you are going to accomplish within the next 3 months. All right, so break it down now. Think about those things. Think about taking your vision and bringing it down. What can you do in 3 months to accomplish that? All right, and then we will talk. Don't worry, there's plenty of time to figure out how to do it. But what are your things? And you know, you can come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever is things you want to focus on. How everybody doing online?
Good.
Good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. I wanted to have a big calendar up there, so that I forgot to bring it. So that you could like, look, I love having the visual of a calendar. It really helps, you know. Maybe while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna go look and see if there's like one of those wall calendars somewhere in somebody's little office. That I can see.
Oh, here.
What's that?
It's one.
Oh,
Yeah, everyone has to.
oh yeah, there's actually a bunch. So if you guys want to look at, oh gosh, it's May 2019. This person is not on top of their. I don't think this is a success, actually.
Oh, that was when you're really behind.
I know, they have no goals.
Here.
They should be here. So anyways, we can have, I find this really helpful too. So looks like you guys are just about done, but you know, the 3 months here we're talking about, right? All the rest of March. Look at all these days. All of April. And pretty much all of May. All right, so that's where our focus is right now. All right, everybody got down a couple things they're gonna break down today. Good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is called mind mapping. What I want you to do is choose one of your goals that today you're gonna break all the way down into your daily action items. So choose that, and you are going to write it right in this little green circle. See, like I told you guys, this workbook is mostly just blank, so you can use a blank sheet. And what mind mapping is mind mapping is really a time to basically brainstorm all of the different aspects of the goal or the project that you want to get done. All right, so it's a time you can be creative. I brought pins that if you want to do different colors, but we're gonna take a little bit of time to really dive into this. Do you need something, Sarah?
Oh, no, I was thinking.
You're all good. I like thinking. So for instance, this mind map here, somebody wanted to start eating all plant-based, right? And so they looked at all the aspects of that. Like, okay, they need to go shopping regularly and get the food they need. They needed a well-stocked pantry. I don't know, chopping, and they gotta chop their food. surviving social events, right? That's a challenge that they were gonna have. Like, how do you deal with that when you're out and about? I don't know what was behind that, but it just kind of gives you an idea of what it can look like. Now, it does not need to look all pretty with little drawings on it or anything, but it is kind of fun to use some colors, and you know, you might use a different color for each one, and just let your ideas flow. It's taking a look at this goal from really a big picture. What are all the pieces of it that you need to consider? All right, so things you might want to include is there something, what is inspiring you to do this goal? All right, what's your inspiration? Do you want to make a bunch of money? Do you want to be more healthy? Whatever it is, what's the inspiration? It kind of goes back to what is your why, right? Why are you doing this goal? Is it to provide money for your family, or to a big thing for me right now is be more fit so I can be out there with my family doing all the activities that they want to do, right? So what is your why? What's your inspiration here? What are some challenges that you think might come up to get in your way of doing this? That's another great branch on that mind map, all right? Things that we have them all. We all have them, right? And then what are some strategies? Like that previous one, they had a whole bunch of different strategies, right? They were shopping and chopping. I don't know what the chopping was. And then also, what do you have in the way of support, or maybe something's already in place to help you accomplish this, right? Whether it's someone or something, maybe you've already created a piece of it, whatever. What's the support you have? And then what kind of a mindset do you need to keep in place to get to this, to achieve this goal? So go ahead. Any questions on mind mapping, what you're gonna do? It's a little hard on your laps. I know I should, yeah.
Is it gonna be only for our first?
Do it for
three
one
months?
goal. Just do it for one goal right now.
Okay.
Yep, one goal right now. So, you know, I would put my goal, like when I was doing, you know, replenish my emergency fund, I would write replenish whatever amount of dollars for emergency fund. What's in place? I already have so much in the bank. You know, at that time I had a couple of transactions already open that I knew were going to close. Woohoo, right? So I already had some money going towards it. Challenges, I have a bunch of expenses I have to pay, you know, so yeah, so take your one goal and just dive into it. Does anybody want some fun colored pens? These big ones probably aren't the best ones. But there's lots of cool colors, and just take a little while and let me see. Do you guys want like magazines or something to put? I bet there's things that we can use so we can have a.
I don't mind.
You've got something. This next one, next to the calendar that someone's putting on the table. Do you want, you've got something? You guys have some? Okay. When I do this, it's nowhere near as pretty as that other one. But it's, you know, it gets you to think of the big picture in kind of a free form, creative way. Do you guys want me to leave this up so you can think of all the different aspects, or leave the mind map? Okay, I'll leave this one. You guys are. lots of stuff being written down. Nice. Aw. Calendar there. Like, to me, I have to look at the.
I'm so old school, I have a,
You have a hand,
but
yeah,
I also put it in my phone.
yeah.
Really cool. Keep on with time, you know. But
I
have
used-
to have something.
I did both for the longest time, and then just too many times it was in one place and not the other, and I screwed up. So,
Yeah,
because I would rather have it all written out.
so you can see everything.
Yeah,
Like,
like it's more
See so much,
conceptual. Yeah. Um, I know. Almost as pretty as the one on the screen was.
Thank you. I love these markers. I was telling my sister that my daughter keeps asking me for this kind of markers.
Oh, yeah.
but I wasn't sure how they work.
Oh,
Awesome. We have to choose
the two different,
the
yeah.
different ones, so
She's gonna use them
she's
more.
paying them for her.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna buy it for you, but I'm gonna use them.
Love to think of a big picture of each of them. You know, we dive down a little too much, so this is nice because it really gets you to think, oh, I've already got things in place, or I've got support, or whatever. Things you didn't think of. Stop recording while it's all just quiet. People can just fast forward, right? And zoom through till if they're watching the recording later. Okay, just looks like you guys mostly have just another minute or so. You're done, all right. Good. It's just about done. Cool. Well, let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. You can keep on writing if you're still working on that. Before we go on, what came up in your mind mapping that you didn't realize? Something that surprised you, or a big, oh my gosh, this is going to be a big, really great thing, or a real big challenge, or anything, something that came up for you that you were surprised at? Anybody online have anything they'd like to share? Yeah.
We don't have to do it all at once. Like, we don't have to push ourselves that hard that we can end up feeling because it's too much.
Mhm.
Like,
Good.
Like I realized that I've done this for a long time in the different aspects of my life.
Uh-huh.
I start something and then I finish it all at once and then overwhelmed and then
Just give up, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, forget it. It's too much. Yeah.
so
Good.
it's okay to take your time and
Mhm. Yeah.
step by step.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Oh, anybody else have anything they were surprised at? Or something really strong that came up, a good tactic? Anybody online?
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
I mean, myself, and also acknowledging small wins.
Oh.
Sometimes we have this goal and, one of mine right now is meal prepping and actually eating the food in the containers and not having sweet snacks. And so, it's like I ate the food in the containers, but I still had a sweet snack. But I tell myself, okay, well, we had this food. We didn't go buy a sandwich for lunch like you wanted to. You had the turkey and the vegetables. So this, because you're trying to I'm trying to retrain my brain and my daily actions. So just being patient and also being kind to myself and like I said, celebrating small wins.
Good.
Because when we don't, then you really feel down on yourself when you really did something good, and that little cookie or maybe two cookies did
Right.
ruin that.
And just like you were saying, like you give up, right? Because you're like, you got to celebrate the little pieces that you do so that you don't just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I eat one bad thing during the day, it's like it makes me think, well, the whole day's shot. It's not. You can, so
Very
yes.
common.
Yeah. All right, Matt, you had something?
Yeah, so as far as with mind mapping, the goal that I was going to focus on is back to doing open houses and promoting those on social media. So a strategy that I'm going to do is reach out to our admin and let them know that I'm open for doing open houses in Napa. And then just as far as how to promote it on social media, I'm going to study the people who are doing it very well, which I know a couple in Napa that are promoting very well on Instagram and Facebook. Study their tactics, so give an introduction, where the house is located, how it's going to benefit them as the consumer, and then go over a few brief features of the home that could benefit them, and then a strong call to action at the towards the end. So which will be, I'm Matt Vigvari with Better Homes and Gardens, and please reach out to me today if I can assist you in any of your real estate needs. So yeah, that's my strategy. Challenges will be tech issues, trying to make the video nice and clean when I'm not feeling motivated, maybe.
Okay, good. Okay, great. All right, so we have been here for almost an hour. Do you guys want a little break, bathroom, water? How's everybody feeling? Get up, move around, at least move around a little. Why don't we take 5 minutes? There's a bathroom straight back here. I don't know if there's water in there or if you have to go downstairs for water or coffee. But yeah, let's just take 5 minutes and we will, and then we will come back and move on to the next step. I already got my break and it felt bad. I was like, wait, you guys have been working. It's good to move around a little, the blood flowing.
tea's actually a lot stronger than yeah. One morning I had tea, so I was having coffee. It's gonna be rough on your stomach if you I put 2 bags and just a little water down in the bag. Oh, whoa, maybe we should have just put 1 bag. of water. Trying to get that kick going. You know what's a really good tea is they have a mint water from Trader Joe's. So good.
Is it?
So if you make it, it's the best if you make it, but it's pull out and drink it with
I
ice.
see. Oh, I bet that would be good.
Yeah, it's so good and no calories.
I do a cup of tea at night, the bitter, sweet and spicy. That's
Yeah.
when I want something sweet at night,
Yeah.
I'll
that's a
drink
great
hot
thing to do.
that instead.
No, but I actually watched a little video about that.
No, no.
I think matcha, where you like break it down.
Matcha is the same as matcha? I don't think so.
Because I'm pretty sure the matcha's like really.
Matcha with yeah, they add all the tea stuff in there. But matcha is so. Is that like the water with the big sweet like yes. There's like a
Oh, I've already got 9,000 steps today. Woohoo. I must be pacing.
those stairs are me too.
I was like, I was like, is this really just one story? Like it feels more because it goes around. Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, one cool thing about my computer is you can get into all the offices. If you Oh, uh-huh.
So like it becomes the doc. I know one holding you accountable. They were actually working on it.
Good, good, good. Yeah. Yes, that's right. We didn't really talk about this out here, but that's great to break that down. Oh, uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, nice. I'm such a paper person that I like to see it. But apps are great because you can set up reminders, right? Where it pops up in your phone. Oh, I'm supposed to do. Yeah, that's cool. We'll get started in just a minute. It's a little overwhelming too, you know? Oh. Uh-huh. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think there's a great. It's that kind of like, I got some of it, but it's so important to stop and take breaks.
Mm.
Do like 30 minutes, at least for me and how my brain works.
Mhm.
So, I'm kind of in between. Well, I have a year, which I don't want to take it, but I'm kind of in between of because I have the notes, so I didn't even have to take those small quizzes either. But I kind of feel like I want to do quizzes, so I'm. you
Well,
know,
it's a good way to check, like, did I get the information?
Yeah.
What you might do is take the class, take the quiz, like, if you do great on it, then good, but if you miss the box, then, okay, go back and look it over a little more. I'm the same way though, it's like, just get it done, because studying for the exam is so different than studying for the classes tests.
Oh, really?
Really different.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys said that, 'cause I was like stressed out. I'm like, oh, I gotta go back and.
Yeah, no, once you just get through the classes, and then once you start doing the exam cram and doing the practice exams, that's gonna inform so much more about what you need to be studying.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you told me that, because I was ready to make flashcards just for red bundles.
Uh-huh.
Because it's wild. So many different
Mhm.
and you're the owner, and there's a trust, and then if you die, you go,
Yep.
oh my gosh, I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, and then,
It's hard to keep track
Oh,
of it
yeah.
all,
well, and then once you get into the legal aspects, I think, and then it has all of the different laws.
Yeah,
Oh, this, passed in this year, and how it gets really.
yeah, wild.
What I always tell people, when you're studying for the exam, take the practice test. If you like doing flashcards, take a practice test, and then just write flashcards for the questions you got wrong.
Yeah.
Put
that's
them
what
in
I
a
was
pile,
thinking.
and then do it again. Put them in a pile. Do it 4 or 5 times, and then go through your flashcards. By then, you'll already have half those memorized. You'll be good, and then just focus on the ones that you're still getting wrong. It's a really good way to kind of just get rid of all the stuff, you're gonna know a lot of information, so. All right, did you have something else you want to say?
No, I was just, and a lot of stuff we're not gonna use, and then if it comes up, you can always go and research what it asks for.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm glad we talked about that, because I would be in there, and I have. So, we have work and such, but
Uh-huh.
it's like I gotta retrain, like, how do I like to learn?
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long time. I
Yeah.
think about how long it's been since.
Right, no doubt.
Practice. Oh, no, principles, excuse me. Yeah. No, I'm on chapter 1, and I'm on unit 2. The first unit was so cool because it talked about California and all these fun facts, like the mountain bike came from Mill Valley.
Look at, so you already memorized it.
Well, that stuff was
Useless
interesting to
information.
me. I know. I was telling my sister all these fun facts, and she goes, "Can I say something?" I was, hear about any more fun facts? I'm like, "Hey, these are cool."
They're fun.
How many questions is on the test? Oh, really?
200, 400? I don't remember. It's supposed to be divided up evenly between all the subjects, but yeah. Oh,
Woo!
150, okay, I couldn't. Yeah.
And you only get like your pen, right?
You get a dry erase board and you, and they give you a little calculator. Yep, and if you need a Kleenex, you have to raise your hand. You can't bring anything in at all.
Really? I
They
got long
even-
sleeves with all the answers.
Well, no, they even checked my glasses that I didn't have something in there. Like
Oh, wow.
they're not kidding around.
What are
Yeah.
you gonna bring 5 answers? You know?
A little computer chip with all the,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know what, the technology, so they probably. could do
Oh,
this.
for sure.
Little mini screen.
I mean. I'm expecting so much about trust. But, yeah. All like, yeah, pretty much really. So I'm just like, oh, I can see like this, and this. Like, actually, no, probably this will happen instead, and this will happen instead.
There's a bank of questions, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions, and then your test will be 150 of those questions. It's supposed to be divided evenly between all the different subjects, but so that's why the practice exams are so great, because you'll actually have the exact same questions at your exam.
I can't
So-
even think about the testing. Like,
Yeah,
woo,
right.
Right now, I'm like, just chill.
Yeah, just relax. Okay, let's get back on track. Yeah, the practice exams are key. Okay.
Yeah, like
Right.
literally just, it's like, when I started, woo, someone started.
Nice. Okay, let's get back to our action items. All right, so the next piece in here is to take your one goal and you are going to break that down. You did your mind mapping. You probably have tons of ideas right now. You're going to go take one goal. You're going to come up with all the tactics that you are going to use to achieve that goal. Some of your tactics are going to be one-time accomplishments, right? So they're going to be things you do, and then you can take the next step, right? And then the next step. Whereas some you're going to do either every day, you're going to do 3 times a week, you're going to do once a week. So on this little sheet here, it says to live my vision for the period and put the date in. I will, and then what your goal is. And then you want to write down every tactic that you came up with that's going to help you achieve that goal. As you're doing it, you might think about if it's a one-time accomplishment, you can put an O beside it. If it's a daily or weekly habit, you can do this. You can write down all the tactics and then go through and look at it that way. And ultimately, what you'd like to do is one-time accomplishments, put in a due date. Now, you don't have to put in the specific date. You could say in 4 weeks, right? So that you know, so because soon what you're going to do is you're going to break it down into your whole 3 months, what you need to have happen every week to accomplish this. So go ahead and take your thing and start writing down all your tactics. Look back at your mind map. That's going to inform a lot of what you are, what you need on there. And again, you can just list them down. You don't need to, don't evaluate them too much to start. Ultimately, you'll want to add in, you know, think about if they're a daily or weekly habit or if they're a one-time account. Don't get overwhelmed, just put down everything that you could do to move you forward. We'll evaluate these in a minute. Write a page a day for your book. Yes. Yep. Um, lot of ways when you feel complete, so that never, it's always hard to judge. You guys are good, okay. Okay, all right, so now you want to take a look at those tactics, and if you have more than 3, you want to prioritize which tactics are really going to move the needle the most towards your goal, right? What do you want to put as the highest priority?
First priority was to make it.
That's good.
Good, yeah.
Be honest with yourself. That's great. That's awesome though.
Oh, man, yeah. Right. It just, when you work full time and you got kids, it's hard, you know, there's a lot to get in the way.
It is funny too.
Everybody said you can't do it part-time. I still manage to sell houses. But and now that I'm totally available, I have to.
You
So
will.
I will, but
Mhm.
it's better to do it not working time, but I'm here to tell you, I've done it since
Get it done.
2016 and I've had some good action. My first transaction was like $1 million. So it was really here on my lap. But it can be done. Once you transition out, like right now, I feel really good about it because I'm doing it full time. I'm doing a lot of floor time. I'm doing a lot of open houses when I can get them. These are all tactics that I use to get towards my goal. So, but it's you can do it. Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to not tell everybody what your goals are, because everybody, even people that love you, are gonna say, oh, you can't do it. You're not gonna do it.
Other agents
What am
will
I
tell
gonna
you you
do?
can't do it part-time. That's everybody I told that to. But finally, I stopped telling people.
Yeah, because you just gotta stay focused and as
As
long
long
as
as
you
you're
stay.
listening, that's all I'd say. I wouldn't go on about my main job.
Yeah, dream
Yeah.
process. I feel like I can do it. I don't feel it.
Yeah.
But-
Well, and even when if you're able to do real estate full-time, it's really easy to still, you're like, oh, I've got plenty of time. It's sort of like the year goal, right? I've got plenty of time to get everything done, there's not as much sense of urgency.
Yeah, I was,
You know?
because I was looking at my quarter and what are my challenges to get what I need done, and I have an open calendar.
Mm,
I have nothing in front of me that's holding me back, or
okay.
I really have.
Right. Like, I really
I'm
need
here
to get
today,
this.
and I needed this, so.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
gonna push for a big push.
cool. All right, so now what I want you guys to do is look back. Mostly here, the next page is your quarterly goal, the weekly milestones. And what I want you to do is go in and take especially those one-time activities, right? The things that you're going to do once, get a sense of when you need to do those to have them be a stepping stone for the next steps, right? So going back to the idea of writing a book, maybe the first thing is writing the outline. Okay, I want to get that done in 3 weeks. So I would write here, write a third of a book, and then I'd say, okay, I'm going to have my outline due by this date. So you're starting to plug in and get yourself a concept of when you need to get those one-time activities done. You know, maybe it's if you're wanting to knock on 100 doors, maybe it's getting the door knockers done. I think you are the door hangers. I think you already got those, right?
Yeah.
But-
Like, I've already done it a handful of times. It's really-
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, it takes about 2 hours. I want to do 4 hours a day. I'm only practicing 2 times, but I've done. Yeah, so, hopefully. All I'm doing is like, I think the main thing that I want to fix on like experimenting when I do it is the first one I was like, yeah, I'm from that now. And you guys play 7. I didn't say anything. I just put them. I'm on the page and I'm like, and they were definitely more like, well, why are you here? Like, I don't like that here.
So
But if I
yeah.
tell them like I'm introducing myself and I'm from this neighborhood specifically, which I am, they were like, oh, okay, all right, so like that's how
Yeah.
it works.
Cool. Yeah. So we're going to talk about what's getting in your way, those sort of things, being realistic, what's setting up your stuff. So this is just to get you a little outline. Okay, what are the steps I need to take? Kind of chart it out. What do you want to get done so that you accomplish those things by the end? Of course, that's not covering your daily and your weekly actions so much, because those are going to be done every day. You don't need to write it on every week. If anybody wants to look at a big calendar, right there. Just take a minute or two and see. Some goals, they don't have a lot of milestones like that. It's just like, if your goal is being more fit, that's not good and specific and measurable, but if that's what it is, then it's more about your daily actions than stepping stones. So you might not have a lot of milestones, but if you do, you want to get them in there. And you could also use this to break it down. So by week 2, I've knocked on a total of so many doors, or something like that. So just depending on how it fits in with your goal.
It's definitely there today. I was doing it for the first time. It was just more like, the worst thing they're gonna do is I only managed one person, but they weren't like really that bad. It's more they just like, sell your house right now. And I was like, actually, it's not. I do look at these buyers. Well, it's a rotten time to buy a house. I can argue that too, but I was like, I'm not gonna. The next house, like, next door.
Yeah.
Well, I have like actually like sold it. But I do have. Like the buyers are pretty cool.
That's a good time when the weather gets warmer.
There'll be more homes available. all that stuff.
Yeah. Did Mark pick up the- Actually, I was talking to.
Okay.
But he. What? Since it's gone, I know. I think I'm gonna just, because I feel like it looks better than this in my car. But I do have one, that's my car.
Well, I'd do a whole market update.
Yeah.
That's what I would hand out. If you're not gonna do door hangers, you know. Okay, let's go on to the next step there. Now, we are in a little bit, so the ultimate goal here is to get some of these things into your daily calendar, right? So on your calendar where you create time for it. We're gonna talk about time blocking in a little bit. But in my mind, there's two main things that you have in time blocking. A lot of times time blocking doesn't work because it's too overwhelming. It's, you know, those sort of things. But for these, some of your daily and weekly actions, you might want to do a really focused time block. And sometimes your one-time accomplishments or either or could be a more strategic block, giving yourself more time to do it. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So now what I want you to do is take your tactics, and on this next sheet, what I like to do is create a way to track what I am accomplishing or not accomplishing. My things here are a little bit. What happens when people have goals most often is they end up tracking what's called lag indicators, right? So if your goal is to lose a certain amount of weight, then what that person often does is they get on a scale every day and they look down and they say, okay, did it or didn't do it, right? Next day they look. They're not tracking the actions that get them to their goal. They're tracking whether or not they've achieved it, right? So that's a lag indicator, right? If you're tracking the actual getting to the goal, then you're going to be less effective than if you track your lead indicators. Your lead indicators are those actions that you need to do every day to get to the goal. So what you've got here is in your little checklist, and there's two different samples here, but you want to say each week, you want to come up with what you're going to do this week to move you forward to your big goal. So for your first week on this plan, what tactics are you going to use to achieve that goal? If you have the one-time actions, then you can have it, okay, this week I've got to call my 7 people, I've got to, you know, whatever they are. If you have something you want to do daily, you might use a grid like this one. If you're going to walk 20 minutes every day, then every single day you can go in and you can check, okay, I did it. Oops, I didn't do it, right? And this is how you can set up yourself to track your lead indicators, right? If you're taking daily actions towards your goal, you can't help but achieve your desired results. Every single day you're doing what you need to do, what you want to do to achieve it, then you can't help but succeed. So you track those lead actions, right? The lead indicators where you're not looking at your results. So here is the actions you want to take and set it up for your first week. Now, you can make copies of this, right? Or I could send this to you. This is a Google Doc. I change it depending on what my goals are. But just give it a minute to think about like how you would want to set that up, what your first week would look like. Okay, do I have those daily or multiple, 3 times a week actions? And have it just to get you an idea of what you need to do. Breaking it down even further. Might be study for 45 minutes, 5 days a week.
I'm putting myself 2 hours to study every day, and I've been doing it. I did my goal
Right.
last 2 months.
Mhm.
I did 2 hours every day, and
Cool.
if I miss a day, then the next day I'm gonna be able to study.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but I finished my first 45 hours that way. So
Cool.
I have 2 more months. 2 more sets of
The other
45
two classes. Yeah.
hours. I'm gonna give myself to make sure I finish.
A big part of it is just getting it down so you know what you want to do, right? You know what you want to accomplish.
Something different.
So the next step is that you want to get this into your calendar. Now, going back to the business plan course, she talked about how there's 168 days in a week, right? And 168 hours in a week. Is that right? Sorry. 168 hours in a week. And you need to prioritize what you want to get done. You need to prioritize all your personal things, right? That's super important. So like Anna was saying, make sure you first put in what you already have commitments, right? And personal commitments to yourself, to your family, to your other job, if you still have one, all those things. So then you can create your calendar that's really going to work. Time blocking is really nice because you can set up certain times for this goal. I encourage you to actually if you use something like Google Calendar, I encourage you to create a separate calendar just for your quarterly goals. Have it be a different color. You can even share it with someone. And that way it really stands out that you've blocked out certain times to focus on whatever it is that you're working on right now, those 2 or 3 goals. Time blocking, it's really important not only to set up your commitments you already have, your personal commitments, your family, also put in there some breakout blocks. Some time, I love it to be during the normal work week where you just go and you do nothing work related for 2 or 3 hours. Give yourself a break in there. Buffer blocks are also really helpful. So a buffer block is something is a time that you have designed in your calendar where you can deal with all of those unexpected things that come up, right? Responding to phone calls, responding to emails. In real estate, the fire you have to put out, right? That is, you have a set up time. Some agents even do, I return all phone calls between 4 and 5 p.m. People know they aren't going to hear back from them until that time period. I don't do that. I do it on the fly, but I do have buffer blocks for returning emails and dealing with other things that come up. And then the 2 most important for dealing with your goals are strategic blocks and focus blocks. A strategic block is a larger chunk of time where you can really dive in and get some things done. So for me, it takes my mind a while to wrap around. Like if I say I'm working on a listing presentation, it takes me a while before I can kind of get into the groove of what I'm trying to create. So I need at least 3 hours. A strategic block can often be 2 to 3 hours. And then look at how many times do you want to do that. Allocate that time once a week or twice a week. Really depends on what your specific tactics are for your goal. But lock in some strategic times where you're really working on your business, creating whatever it is you need to create to achieve your goal. Focus blocks, really great For anything that a focus block tends to be less than 1 hour or less, and really intense on a specific task that you need to get done. They're really great for the things you don't like to do. So when we talked about holding yourself accountable, right? If you don't like to door knock, or you don't like to make calls, or whatever piece of your business or your life you don't like to do a focus block on that, where you have a finite time. You're like, okay, I'm going to dedicate 1 hour. I can sit down. I don't really like making phone calls. So that's the hour I call, I get it out. I know it's going to be over soon, right? It's so I can really be dedicated to it. When you're creating your calendar and your time blocks, there are, oh, that's right. I was going to talk about this. There's a lot of things to consider. So what I want you to do right now is go back and look at your tactics and determine if you need a strategic block for that tactic or a focused, right? Do you need 2 or 3 hours, and how many times a week you want to dedicate to that tactic? And then do you need a focused block so that when you go to put it in your calendar, you have it already? I need these focused blocks. You can put an S and an F by those if you want. That's what I do. I code it, or I color code it, highlight ones, so that you can really see what do we have? Excuse me here. Oh, they added in a picture. Alrighty, then we're going to talk about knowing yourself. So when you're creating your calendar and your blocks and your tactics, it's really important to know you, yourself, and your situation, or what your other commitments already are. Things to think about when you're creating your calendar is, when are you most productive, right? When do you get the hard things done, right? If making phone calls is hard for you, what time of day do you actually do it, right? If you're creating a listing appointment, for me, I get all sorts of stuff done first thing in the morning. By 3 p.m., I am toast. I'm useless for like writing and, conceptual stuff. I can talk on the phone, but I can't do that. So know when you're productive. Also, look at when you can find the time, right? We're all very busy. You guys you have full-time jobs. When I was studying for the real estate exam, I was working full-time. I have 3 kids. My husband's a teacher, and so I'm constantly helping him with those things. I started getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and my study time was 5 to 7. It was the only time I could do it. And so just know when you're productive and when you can find the time, right? Some people study really, or get a lot done after 10 o'clock at night. I'm useless, but a lot of people, that is a very, very productive time. So whatever it is for you, again, morning versus night, it can be really helpful to schedule. What's that? To schedule your routine tasks at the same time. Right? So if you make the phone calls Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11, you find it's a good time, great. And you want to really be committed to what you commit to yourself you're going to do, holding yourself accountable. But the great about a time block is, if you use like Google Calendar, you can move it very easily. Once you guys get into real estate, I used to have all these great time blocks, and I found, that's the only time an inspection can happen, or the only time that listing appointment can happen. And so it's great because then you can just drag it to a new location the next day, right? So just don't let it fall off the week. Just find, keep open spaces so that if you do have to be flexible, but it's really good. So hold it, keep committed to it, I guess. Hold it of importance. And Again, I think it's great to create your own calendar for your goals or for my calendar. I have green is all my real estate related activities, except for I have a dark blue for specifically for the goals I'm working on that quarter. So it really stands out. The blue, I notice these are the things that I'm going to do. Just back to the checklist here, I forgot to mention, once you've got this created, it is a really good visual reminder for those actions you want to do, right? How many times have you sat down, you're like, I'm tired, I sit down at my computer, and your mind's blank, like you can't even think of what you could do, right? It's really great to have something. I have it on, where is it? Oh yeah, I have it on a clipboard by my computer so that when I can't think of what I need to do, I just look back and it's like, oh, and that'll take me, a lot of these tactics could be 10 minutes, right? They don't have to be a whole thing, but you've got to fit them in sometimes. So that's something that's really helpful. Again, standout color is great. And you might want to share that calendar with your accountability partner, your personal partner, somebody that's going to give you support through it if you want. That's just an option. It can be really nice so that somebody, when you state your intentions, sometimes it can help, even if they don't even ever say anything about it. So anywho, let's see what else we have next. Okay, so this is really interesting. We talked already about getting overwhelmed and just giving up, right? You have so many activities you want to do. Well, this is the emotional cycle of change. Anytime you're going to take on a new endeavor, what happens is you start here where you are uninformed. You don't know what it's going to be like, right? Maybe you've got this goal and you've got your tactics, but you don't know that much about how you're going to actually implement them. So you've got uninformed optimism. All right, I'm so excited. I've got this new plan. I'm going to get out there every single day. And then a week comes in and you come down to informed pessimism where you're like, wow, I really said I was going to do a lot and I'm tired. And, now you know more and you start getting frustrated, a little pessimistic. And then you actually go all the way down to the valley of despair, they call it. This is where you're like, what did I say? This is where we give up. Right? We go, forget it. It's too much. I'm exhausted. What was I thinking? And we throw in the towel. And just remember, go back to your little tactics. Pick the ones that are 10 or 15 minutes long. Push through a little bit because then you come back up where you're like, oh, I can get these things done. I understand what this is all about. And you start to feel more optimistic again. And then you get to your success. So you're going to feel this. It's totally normal, right? But go back. It's like, go back to, it's only 3 months, right? I said I was going to do this for 3 months and I was going to do this once a week or 4 times a week or whatever it is. And just push through and be forgiving. If you don't do it 4 times a week, you only do it 3, it's okay, right? You're still working towards that goal. And I'll tell you what I've found is that once you start working really focused like this, sounds like you already are 2 hours a day, but once you find it, you'll often find that you get things done even more quickly than the 3 months that you set out to do it, right? Mm-hmm. When you're, okay, we got all this life, tons to do, but when I have time to really be focused on my goals, then they start coming really clearly, even though you're dealing with all the laundry and the dishes and everything, so just keep at it, keep going until you get to your success and fulfillment. It will come more quickly than you think. So, and the most important thing is enjoy it and have some fun when you're doing it, Yeah. It really is, these tactics that we have to achieve our goals, it feels so good when we get it done. And just keep at it and have some fun with it. Try to put in some fun things.
Keep your motivation going if you hit those small little milestones.
Yep. Yeah.
Instead of,
Yep. And celebrate those.
Yeah.
Right. So have a little fun. Say, oh, wow, I did this. Maybe get yourself a nice coffee or, take that breakout block. Go for a hike or, whatever it is for you so that you keep yourself motivated. So cool. What do you guys think?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
More clear.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Sometimes when we set a goal, then we start like digging it up, we start doubting ourselves. You know, but that's not how nature works. Like, don't dig up the seed because it won't grow. You want to make 50,000, whatever, if it's a number goal, and then you just do your daily watering, fertilizing, you know, give the sun, and you're gonna see it sprout, but don't keep doubting yourself and digging it back up, no. And stay
Right.
focused on your goal, you're gonna do it, passing the class, getting your door knocking, getting your sales, you know, it's all doable.
Yeah.
So that's a good reminder.
That'll be so fun to see it
Yeah.
come up as you're accomplishing what you've set out to do.
Dig up the seed every day.
Don't dig it out.
No.
Questioning,
Yeah.
are you gonna grow?
Just trust, right? Just trust.
That's
Do
how
the
it works.
things.
You do it, you
Yeah.
feed it, it works.
Great. All right. Any big you know, things that you think are gonna really work, tactics you're excited about, anything like that?
Or getting a follow-up, because I was thinking, just throwing it out loud, what else do you guys need? I was thinking, Heather, you're such a beautiful example. I want to see your calendar. I want to see what you do. I'm serious. Because real estate is it's already formula. She's proven it. In 6 years, you know, she's a top producer. Like, she's already proven it, so.
And she still has time to keep. I can keep working.
Conversation before you say, I do want this, or what do you say? So I look at that like the first. That was very.
You learn from it.
Yeah, the body language was very like, go away. Because I hate salesmen personally. They are very annoying and always intrusive. So I mean, it's funny because I'm a salesman. So I definitely don't do that. I make it more personal. Like I'm not there to sell them anything. I'm there to provide. I do that. I introduce myself on the introduce yourself. And like you want to do it within 30 seconds too, like now later pitch. Because you rather like you don't want to waste their time, you don't want to waste yours, especially if you're trying to talk. You know. So I'll kind of tell them like I'm gonna be we're not gonna replace so yeah, we're not gonna 4 places in my 6 months of sold for I'm going to how many I actually live 3 evidence down, and I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that there have been multiple places in there. So, how many different shows, multiple houses, there you go. And then it'll be like, by chance, like you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell houses with this. And because if I say it like that, it could be that they themselves are. But if I'm asking them, do you know somebody? It's kind of like almost, I'm like giving them an option that helps somebody else, which is
Takes the pressure off of them. They have to make a
exactly.
decision.
Yes, I'm still like figuring out what to say and all that. I mean, I definitely need to get my scripts for sure. But it's I'm trying to find like what scripts I like the most.
See how people react, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do a walking farm, but I didn't actually knock on the doors. I would just leave a flyer. So, there's so many different ways you can do it.
How did that work?
I got a couple of listings. Yeah. So
It's usually working off of research.
the
Right.
biggest thing with anything like that is consistency. If you've got to, get that on, get out there every 6 weeks or so they
Yeah, 'cause
know.
It's not cutting it with open houses in Georgia.
Mhm.
You can't get any open houses.
Yeah, there's
There's
so
nothing
many.
to hold open. And floor time, even though this is a great location, we just don't get people walking in that want to spend $1 million on real estate.
Mhm.
So I need something new. I think I'm gonna be out on the streets. I'll avoid Andrew.
You guys can set your territory.
Joe, I'm happy to brainstorm some different ideas with you. Are you regularly reaching out to your sphere?
I have a small sphere,
Okay.
and the sphere is not really just all of the South and North Bay. They're all over.
Right,
So you can't really drop stuff off to some of the, there's some challenges, but I have a sphere.
Mhm.
I have their addresses and emails and everything.
I think another great thing to do is really coming up with like ways that you're out in the community. So that you're meeting new people and adding those to your, ultimately adding them to your database.
Maybe
Volunteering, networking, there's a lot of I really believe in doing real estate true to ourselves. So like for me, I really love hiking. I love being out in nature. And so I realized when I got to real estate that I have an opportunity now to start volunteering with organizations that I never had time to do before. So I volunteer with Sonoma Land Trust and the Parks Foundation. And through that, meet so many people. So if you can find something that's a love anyways, then get out there and, be contributing to the community. You're going to meet a ton of people that way too. And when you always get asked as soon as they know you're in real estate, how's the market? Who does not ask that question, right? Get out there and, have some data in there, and it's really helpful. And then
As a newer agent, they really do ask that question. And I remember the first time somebody asked me, I was like, ooh, I don't know what to say. Where before I always had an opinion about real estate. Now I wasn't. And I was like, well, geez, I have to think about that. Now I have my pat answer.
Yeah. Were you at the contract training Friday?
Yes.
Okay, you were. So you saw that I talked about having a market, for those of you that weren't there, having a market, like an update, information about the market saved to your phone so that when someone asks you that, how's the market? You can not only tell them, you can also say, I've got this really cool market update I created. Would you like me to text it to you or email it to you? And you capture their info, you provide some value. So yeah. But a farm might be a good thing for you to do, whether, walking farm or what have you. So yeah, I'm happy to chat with you.
Try it.
Pick a good location,
I'm gonna do my blog first.
Mhm.
And start there. That way I can have a say.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mhm.
See what's sold.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a bar. And so it says like, while you're shopping or whatever, we'll take care of your guy.
Oh my goodness, that's hysterical.
Been thinking about that? Oh, there you go.
A monthly raffle or something.
Yeah.
No bribing. Is that what it is? It's like a fair housing issue.
I'm trying to find.
Yeah, that's something that I know that, me and Adam, but he also makes it. He started with the but I mean, me and him have talked about this one is market, so it's not like we want to have Yeah, I noticed Christopher Oscar has one. Yes, yeah, I like talking about
Mhm.
Too sunny.
Yeah, having like something that says I don't know, like, I was gonna talk to you guys. You have to send some kind of incentive or something, you have to come up to us and ask us questions about this.
Mhm.
Like, if you have, like, I don't know, Chris Oscar, he did champagne. Something maybe like. Christopher Oscar and champagne in his trunk.
I did a booth one time. There's in Santa Rosa, there was 2 neighborhoods that had their own magazine, or like newsletter magazine. And they would have these events. And one time I provided the beer for it.
Yeah.
And I served the beer. Oh my gosh, I talked to so many people that
Yeah,
day and about real estate. People took my car, they were all drunk, you know. And then they're like, oh, yeah, I know, right? It's like, well, it's the, you wonder if they, you know, but still, it was got great conversations going, great ones, you know.
That's also fun to do.
Yeah,
So you
it's
get some
fun. and
fun,
You're helping the, well, I don't know if I was helping the community with beer, but I'm trying to find this one thing that I used to send out, but it's not. I don't know why my, there's the mouse.
Yeah, that's something. I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah.
Make your money, make sure you look good. You know, right? If you look good, people like that.
They
Can't
don't
find
see you maybe that you're trying to get out of them, but more like you're trying to keep them.
I guess I should turn off the recording since we're not actually doing, I was trying to find, I have this really, there are a couple people still here.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. It was great.
I'm just turning off the recording, but you guys are welcome to, I think, if I can figure, stop